What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you living? Austin Cunningham and Justin Trees coming to you today with another great episode of Talking Football. Plenty to talk about with the NFL schedule being released last week. It came out the day after our episode. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some MVP odds, and then we're going to run over the AFC North draft. We're going to fuck, marry, kill Carol Baskin that shit, and then we're going to be on to the next one. But, Trees, how you doing, dude?
Pretty good, man. Excited to get back on with you and get going. It feels like it's been a very long time, and it's not because it's been that long a time. It's just the schedule came out, and then it just felt like a longer weekend and stuff. So it's nice to be back on and talking some football.
It was because we went back to back on the podcast. There was no gap in between, and then we pretty much went 4 or 5 days without talking to each other. Really, I mean. You've spent your weekend making your garage into a man cave and organizing it because that's the dad life for you now. And I'm still getting settled in here in Joplin, but man, life seems to be going good for the both of us right now. Looks like we're getting new chapters started. This is an exciting time for us. So kind of bittersweet that knowing we're both doing our own thing, but twice a week we're right here together.
Exactly.
Bro, get out of the fields. Come on now. Do you got a tree stevia for us today?
I do. All right. When was the last time a trio of wide receivers all had 1,000 receiving yards on the same team?
2000s.
2000s. Thank you. Thank you for that. You gave me a 10-year window?
Yeah, that helps me out, actually. Am I right?
You're right. It's in the 2000s, yes.
2003.
No.
2008.
Yes.
Shit, who was good in 2008? Would have been the Patriots.
It was not the Patriots.
Saints.
No.
2018. You had a great set of receivers. Arizona Cardinals. That was before. It was the Cardinals.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, who are those three receivers?
Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, and the other one I'm not going to know.
Steve Breaston.
Yep, wouldn't have guessed it. Dang, though. All three of them had over 1,000.
Yeah.
And that was Kurt Warner, right?
That was Kurt Warner. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. That's impressive. Thinking about that, there are teams that don't have 1,000-yard receiver some years.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles last year.
Sorry for Carson Wentz.
Sorry about that, Carson Wentz. Cool. Well, that's it. I got another one that I'm in the works with. I was hoping to get finished for today, but I didn't have time to finish all the research. So next episode, I'll have one that's actually pretty detailed. So make sure to bring your pen and paper there.
Yeah. Hey, I thought I needed to post a note today, but a couple random guesses put me right in the winning circle. So I just want to go ahead and first and foremost say thank you to my fans. Wouldn't be here without you guys today. Just kidding. Let's get into the schedule list. It comes out Friday. NFL makes a big deal about it. It came out Thursday, excuse me. NFL makes a huge 3-4 hour show out of it. Pretty much the entire thing was leaked before the show. So really no point in it. But a couple key matchups are going to be taking place this season, which is huge. Let's go ahead and run into our personal teams, though, before we really get into that. Trees, let's start with your Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that you have been a fan of for whoever knows how long and for whatever reason why. But let's hear your thoughts on what their season's going to be looking like and kind of what your thoughts are on their schedule, home and away games.
Yeah, so obviously we talked about this already. No London games, so they actually do have to play 8 games in Jacksonville, which is honestly nice. They start out at home against the Colts. They start off with 2 division games, actually. Then they go to Tennessee. Thank goodness we're not going to be seeing the Thursday night classic of Tennessee versus Jacksonville. It's actually going to be a week 3 Jacksonville versus the Dolphins. So that could be exciting. If Tua is actually playing, I actually could see that being a selling point for the NFL. You have Tua, who's highly touted, everybody knows who he is, versus Gardner Minshew, the guy that nobody wanted, 6th-round pick. I think that actually could be a very big selling point to get people to watch that. Then they play the Bengals at Cincinnati. So another one of those Joe Burrow versus Gardner Minshew type things. Could be exciting. Go back against another division in the Texans. Then you got then you got the Lions at home, which I believe that was going to be the London game because they have their bye the next week, and then they got the LA Chargers, which I think I'll probably end up going to that game just because it's so close. You got the Texans again at home. You got the Packers, Steelers, which is always exciting. Jags versus Steelers is always a battle from back in the day when they were the AFC Central and they were rivals there. Obviously, we know that the Jags are actually the only team to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh twice in the same year, and they've done it twice. They did it in 2007 and in 2017. So fun fact.
Wow.
Fun fact for you there. Then you got home against Cleveland. You got a very tough one to start December. I feel like every team says this, but like Jags December is brutal. You got at Minnesota, home against the Titans, at the Ravens, home against the Bears, at the Colts. Like that's extremely
wow.
tough. So honestly, I think this is what's going to happen. I think the Jags are going to win a couple games early. And everybody's going to be like, holy shit, maybe they weren't as bad as we thought. Maybe they weren't tanking. And then they're going to just, like, lose the final, like, 8 games. I think they're going to be very competitive the first 8 and then lose the final 8, like, not very competitively. So, overall, I mean, we actually texted about this a little bit. I kind of think that they're a 3-win team, maybe 4-win team.
Really? Where do you think their wins are coming?
I think that they will beat the Colts at one of those games. They beat the Colts at home. So when in Jacksonville, I think the last 5 years now, maybe it was the last 4 years. So I could see them doing that even to start the season. If not, maybe at the end of the year, maybe maybe the Colts even are sitting guys because they've already wrapped up this division. I think that they are going to win one of the Dolphins or the Bengals game. I can't tell which one. I think they're going to win one of those two. And then, honestly, I think that they could beat the Steelers just because those games are always so crazy that like it's almost like when you're like, oh, it's a division game in college where it's like anything goes, it doesn't matter, right? You know this from Texas, Oklahoma, like where it doesn't matter, like if it's up or down, like they just play tough. That's exactly how the Jags and Steelers are. The Jags have been god awful and played the Steelers and beat them before. And then. Yeah, maybe the Bears, right? So, like, I just named five winnable games. I think they win probably 3 of those. And then everything else, I just don't really see them having a big chance.
All right. Awesome. So at least 3 wins.
3 to 4 wins is what I got. Yep. Question is, does that knock you out of Trevor Lawrence territory? That's the biggest question, right?
I think it might put you right up there. Because the Panthers are going to be better than that.
Yeah, yep, I do. I think that. Yeah, that's tough. Because usually the number 1 pick, usually that team has either 1 or 2 wins. That's usually how it goes. And that 4-win range, that's usually like 3 through 5 is like a 4-win team. Man, that'd be tough. But you want to know what, though? There are 3 very exciting quarterbacks in this draft class with Fields and Lance. As of right now, I'd be happy with any of them. I really would. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is like the holy grail. That's who everybody wants. And, I mean, that's what you got to strive for if you're going to be that bad. So it'll be interesting to see. I know that you talked about this quite a bit on Mic'd Up. So all of our listeners that listened to you on Mic'd Up on Saturday, this is kind of a repeat. But for those of you that didn't listen to him on Mic'd Up and only listened to us on Talking Football, 1, thank you. 2, what do you got? How's the schedule looking for the Chiefs?
Yeah, so Saturday, I put it at 12-4. So a good season, a repeat of what they did last year. But when I kind of go back and look, I feel like I might have been a harsh on a couple games. So I really think that an actual honest spot for them is 13-3 or 14-2. You open up the year Thursday night against Houston. I think that is a win. You then travel on the road to Los Angeles. You pretty much get to see what your new home in LA looks like when playing the Chargers. So there's another win. And then this is when it gets crazy. You go to the West Coast. You're going to come home, and then you're going to go all the way back out east, and then you play at Baltimore. So I think that is probably a game they might lose. When it comes down to it, this is the first time Baltimore gets them at home. The last couple matchups have been close. Lamar Jackson probably isn't happy with his performance in those, or it's just in the case that Patrick Mahomes just took over the game. And then they get New England and Las Vegas at home. I think those are winnable games. And then they go to Buffalo. That's a game that kind of concerns me because the Buffalo always plays Kansas City so tough, and it's in their home field. But it's early in the year. What are you laughing at?
The Buffalo always plays the Chiefs hard. I've just never heard somebody call them the Buffalo.
The Bills, excuse me. I didn't realize I did that. The Bills always play them tough. You know, just Buffalo Stampede. Jesus Christ, now you got me all riled up here. Excuse me. Shit. All right. The Bills, they literally always play the Chiefs tough, no matter whether it's home for them or away. That's going to be a close game, and it's going to be an exciting one. Then, you know how I mentioned the Chiefs go from west to east? Now they're going to go from east to kind of west to Denver. This is going to be kind of a game for Drew Lock here to kind of see what he can do. And with his offense, are him and his receivers on point at this point in the year? Are they still kind of meshing, trying to figure things out? And then they get the Jets and Carolina at home. I'm just going to go ahead and call all three of those wins. Then they go on a much-needed bye week. And this is when things kind of start to get tough here to end the year. You go to Vegas. You get to see what your new home looks like in Vegas now as well. And then you travel to Tampa. You're going to figure out what it's like to win there. My concern is Tom Brady got that offense down to a T? Are they figured out? Is that defense up to par? Are they doing well? Everyone rested up. And then you get Denver at home. And Denver at home now worries me because this is a home game for Drew Lock almost. His friends and family are from the area. He is from Kansas City. He's from Lee Summit. So he's, right down the street. Been to numerous Chiefs games growing up. Now he plays them. He's in the same division. So these games have a lot of meaning to him, and it's a rivalry that he's well aware of. He's just on the other end of it. And then they go to Miami and New Orleans. That's a game that I'm concerned with on they might lose. And then they get Atlanta and the Chargers at home. I just ran through the whole schedule. Really, I'm only seeing 3 losses there. Probably to Baltimore, maybe to Buffalo, and then maybe at New Orleans. Those are all on the road. Those are going to be tough games. It happens. It's the NFL season. No one really goes undefeated. That's why it's so rare. And it literally happened one time. So it's an exciting time to be a Chiefs fan. It's exciting to kind of see what this schedule plays out as. You usually look at a lot of these teams, you're like, man, there's going to be a lot of close games. But looking at this team now and the fact that they have everyone coming back, it feels like they rebolstered their defense through the draft in a way. They got more athletic at the linebacker position. Hopefully their corners are going to be there and they're going to be good. That pass rush is going to be okay. You still got the Honey Badger and Frank the Shark. I think you're going to be okay. Like, the offense didn't lose anybody. It's an exciting time. I can't freaking wait. I wish it was starting next week instead of a couple months, and I wish COVID-19 wasn't a thing. But it is, and I hope everyone is staying safe.
Absolutely. All right, so you think that the Chiefs are going to be either the 1 or 2 seed, correct?
Yep.
Which one?
I think it's going to come down between them and Baltimore in the AFC. And I'm going to pick Kansas City actually to be the 1.
Okay, so you got 1 Kansas City, 2 the Ravens, and I'm assuming you're saying that you think that's going to be the AFC Championship game.
It should be, unless there's just another surprise team like Tennessee coming through. I really don't think Tennessee repeats the success on the offensive side of the ball. I think their defense is good, but, offense, the Chiefs were able to kind of shut down the Titans in the second half. Other teams are going to look at that film and figure out how to do the same thing. So that's kind of where my thought is with it.
I totally agree here. So NFC-wise, and I know you haven't probably dove into the whole NFC schedule, but as of right now, do you have 2 teams that you're like, okay, these are my NFC teams?
So just strictly that I love, honestly, it's going to be New Orleans and Dallas.
Okay.
Like, just absolutely. Minnesota's up there. I think the Packers are on a resurgence. I've been saying this like crazy. I don't think Aaron Rodgers comes into the season lightly. Like, he's pissed off. Totally. And people are just going to be like, oh, well, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's always pissed. This is different. Like, Aaron Rodgers is out to show I'm the fucking dude. And I think that's what this next season is for him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I'm still going to stick with the Vikings. I'm going to go with I was a year too early on them last year. But, yeah. Okay, cool. Interesting. I just wanted to know what your top two teams for each division or conference are. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go into some MVP odds. So this is something that I always like to do. I always try to bet on a few guys when I go down to Vegas in the summertime and kind of just. It's always fun for me, and I always don't try to go with the top guys. And honestly, it's paid off the last 2 years. Given I didn't pick either Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes the last 2 years, but they were not in the top 5 the last 2 years. So that's my point, though, is like there are always guys that can come out, and given guys are favorites for a reason. And honestly, Patrick Mahomes, you don't get hurt last year. He probably is competing with Lamar Jackson as MVP. I think Lamar probably still would have won it because of what he did. He actually was just unbelievable last year. I just don't. He wouldn't have been a unanimous MVP, is I guess what I'm getting at. But I still think he would have got it. So we should just go with, let's cut out all players that aren't quarterbacks. Like a non-quarterback is not going to win.
Damn.
So to start off, let's just name the top 5 favorites. Patrick Mahomes at plus 350. For those of you that aren't into gambling, the plus means if you bet $100, you would get that much in return. So if it's plus 350 like Patrick Mahomes, you'd bet $100. If Patrick Mahomes won it, you'd actually get $450 in return. Your $100 back from your bet, plus you'd win the $350. So that's what the plus 350 is. So Patrick Mahomes, the favorite at plus 350. Lamar Jackson, plus 600. Russell Wilson, plus 800. Deshaun Watson, plus 1,400. Tom Brady, plus 1,600. Those are the top 5 favorites. For me, I will be betting on Russell Wilson at plus 800. I actually tweeted about this today, that I think that this team, the team being the Seahawks, they are a Yanni Ngakoue away from a Super Bowl lock. Not just like a favorite. I'm saying a lock. I think that they will.
Really?
Yes. I actually, even without them, I actually will be taking the Seahawks to make it to the Super Bowl this year. I think that this team is primed. I think that they're young in a lot of good positions. I think that they're not too young, and they have vets on the defense to get ready. They're literally just missing a pass rusher. So I love that. I would be staying away from Deshaun Watson, even at plus 1,400. I want no part of that. I feel like that's just throwing away money there. I bet Tom Brady gets a lot of love here. I would not be surprised if his number drops dramatically here soon. Other ones that caught my eye, you brought up the Cowboys as a favorite. Dak Prescott plus 2,000. So that's pretty good betting odds there. You brought up Aaron Rodgers, 2,500. So is Carson Wentz and Kyler Murray. I actually like all 3 of those. Would not be surprised if I put money on those guys. And one guy that I actually like that I don't like his second half of his schedule, so I probably won't be putting too much money on him. But his first half of the schedule is so easy. So 1, for fantasy purposes, you need to be drafting this guy. But 2, just for betting odds, Josh Allen, plus 4,000. Plus 4,000. His schedule is so easy at the first start that like he might get things rolling, and he might just stay hot the entire year because of his such easy schedule early in the year. So that
confidence is just going to keep rising.
Exactly. Big Ben, I think, is getting totally undervalued at plus 5,000 with the weapons that they have on that offense. I honestly think that I'll be putting money on him. You talked about Baker during mic'd up a little bit, and I totally agreed with your statement of like, hey, this could be the year. Like now that he knows that, hey, I can't just roll out to the right every single play, stay in the pocket. He obviously got 2 offensive tackles, got another tight end weapon. Like he might be able to be good here, and he's at plus 5,000 as well. A little shocked that him and Big Ben are at the same, but that was pretty shocking to me. And those are kind of the ones that I was looking at. There's other players. Jimmy G's at plus 3,300. How he's ahead of Big Ben and Josh Allen to me, I think that's kind of laughable.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, it's got to be, but still, like he likes to run the ball. So interesting, a whole bunch of interesting pickups though here, and a lot of interesting guys. I'm surprised that Michael Thomas is plus 10,000, and I get it, wide receivers don't really win it ever, but there are guys like Stafford, Nick Foles, Josh Jacobs, Nick Bosa, Jameis Winston, a backup quarterback. All of them have better odds than Mike. So, who's the top guy that is not a quarterback here? Saquon Barkley.
I was going to say Barkley's got to be.
Yep, plus 3,000. I'm surprised it's ahead of Christian McCaffrey though.
It's Saquon Barkley. Like it doesn't matter because he's primarily the running back aspect, but he has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. With Christian McCaffrey, I just think they look at the supporting cast there, and I'm not saying it's better in New York, but I think if you look at Saquon and his production as well, they're going to go, okay, this is all because of Saquon. And if you look in Carolina, it's going to be like maybe Teddy Bridgewater has some part of this. Maybe a new head coach and stuff kind of changes things up a bit. Who knows, though? I mean, maybe they're looking at it as there's no way his productivity is as high as it was last year because I need to save him and they paid him all this money. Crazy thought there, but just let me put it out there.
No, that's fair. All right, so let's play a game here. Let's keep Patrick Mahomes out of this. Who would you be choosing as if you went to Vegas and you had $500, and let's say you decided I'm going to choose 5 players to put $100 on. Who would be your 5 players? You can't choose Patrick Mahomes.
That's fine. I'm going to take Drew Brees. This is most likely his last run. He knows it. The team knows it. Everyone knows it, it seems like. We haven't won it yet. Let's fucking make it happen. I would probably put $300 on that, honestly, if I had that money just to drop. But I would put 100 on Drew Brees. I'm going to go ahead and put another 100 on Carson Wentz. I'm going to put another 100 on Russell Wilson. Golly, I don't know what my deal is here. I'm just getting mixed sports up. I'm watching The Last Dance, and I'm just sitting here thinking like, all right, this is nuts. Just watch them play baseball. Let's mix it up a little bit here. So I got Wilson, Brees, Wentz, Aaron Rodgers. I think there's a possibility he has a big year. And then, okay, so other quarterbacks that could just light it up this next season, depending on their schedule. Phillip Rivers, dude, that might be another name I just throw out there. He's got an offensive line. He's got a receiving core that nobody seems to be talking about. But I've heard people say when you want a receiving core, you want it to be like a basketball team. You want your point guard, you want your shooting guard, you want your small forward, and your power forward. He's pretty much got that there. Like, he has got it set up. He's got a new rookie running back. He's got 2 other running backs there that have shown the ability to produce. This dude is surrounded with talent that is very underrated. Guess what? So is Phillip Rivers in a way. Like, everyone just overlooks the dude and what he's done. There's a possibility he just has a massive year in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I agree. Not to bring this back to the Jags, but I actually think the Jags have like the perfect like basketball lineup of wide receivers.
Yes, exactly.
Colin Johnson, your boy from Texas, like getting him with DJ Chark. You bring in Laviska Shenault. You have D.D. Westbrook. You have Keelan Cole or Chris Conley. Like, it is literally a perfect. Like, you have one guy of everything. Like, and that's that's actually why I dislike Deshaun Watson so much this year. They literally have the same guy 4 times. Yep. Same guy. It doesn't matter. Like, a guy that's 6'1" can run a 4.3. Like, that's what they are. Not saying that it's bad, because there are some good players on that team.
No, it's the exact same thing. Hope they stay healthy.
Yep, exactly. Okay, cool. I really like those odds. Another guy I wouldn't count out is, honestly, maybe it's just because we talked to Logan last episode, but Matt Stafford, if he stayed healthy, I actually think he's going to be in a ton of shootouts, and he actually has a very good record of fourth quarter comebacks, plus 6,600. Like, dropping even like $50 on that just to be like, hey, like, he stays healthy. They're going to have to be throwing a ton. If he can get enough comebacks and they find a way to win that division, like, that could be enough to win an MVP there. So that would be interesting. I was actually just looking just to see where Gardner Minshew was. Just a cool 15,000. So.
Where's Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow is actually pretty high. He's 8,000.
Dang. I would just put some money on that just for fun.
Just
That
for,
receiving core, Joe Mixon, rebuilt the offensive line, spent a ton of money in their secondary. Not saying the team as a whole just does well, but they've got him set up pretty good coming into a rookie year, especially coming off of what he did last year in college.
yeah. Chase Young is 10,000. Like, having Chase Young ahead of Khalil Mack, Nick Chubb, Gardner Minshew, J.J. Watt, Aaron Jones.
It's the new shiny toy. Like,
it's ridiculous.
You come into the league and you tear it up.
Dude, I had a Hopkins and Mixon. Dude, crazy. That's crazy to me. Absurd. Two is 10,000. That's interesting.
Wow. Shoot, who knows if he even plays?
Yeah, seriously. Man, maybe we should go with our tight ends. All the tight ends are plus 30,000. Hey, can we just get some tight end love one time? Bet $100.
Could you imagine if a Travis Kelce won an MVP?
Dude, it would be awesome.
What would he have to do to win MVP?
He would literally have to go for seriously like 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that in Madden.
I was just looking. Dude, Myles Garrett is 20,000. How is Chase Young literally twice as likely to get MVP over Myles Garrett, who was going to win defensive MVP if he didn't go fucking crazy in a fourth quarter and decide to just start throwing haymakers with a helmet? Dude,
it's the new shiny toy, dude. That's what it is.
Throw money on Myles Garrett, man. Like if a defensive player is gonna win it, I think it would be a Myles Garrett.
Really?
Who do you think it would be?
I don't think a defensive lineman. I mean, maybe a safety or a corner.
No, it's got to be somebody that puts up tons of sacks. Like Khalil Mack and J.J. Watt both got votes for MVP some of their years for MVP.
Go ahead, dude. I ain't putting any money on defensive players. I mean, that's just me, but
I might throw $10 down. Like, why not? Why not? So,
how much money do you bet with? Well, don't answer that. You don't have to answer that.
Anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
Didn't have to answer that. All right, let's go ahead and get into the AFC North. Let's go ahead and get down to the fuck, marry, kill plus Carol Baskin. If you are unfamiliar with how this works, you get 4 options. One of them you want to bang it out with. Another one you want to marry. Forever is a long time. There you go. Kill it. It's exactly what it is. You get rid of it. But the Carol Baskin, that's the little twist. Hey, we know you did something bad, and we don't like it, and we want nothing to do with you. That's the Carol Baskin. The Green Bay Packers were Carol Baskin of their division. We are now here on the AFC North. Trace, let's start with the Steelers. I want to hear your analysis first on the AFC North with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, all right. So they took Chase Claypool, a guy that we watched at the Senior Bowl, wide receiver out of Notre Dame in the second round. They didn't have a first-round pick because they got Minkah Fitzpatrick. So if we want to put Minkah Fitzpatrick into this draft class, that's who they took there. Round 2, they took Alex Highsmith. They needed another linebacker. Makes sense. Anthony McFarland in round 4, actually. Good running back out of Maryland. Kevin Dotson, a guard, in the 4th round as well. Antoine Brooks, another Maryland guy, in round 6. And then Carlos Davis, a defensive tackle. They lost some defensive tackles in free agency. So overall, this felt like a very Steelers draft of like, you're getting guys that like everybody knows. It kind of felt like nobody actually loved these guys, but everybody talked about them. Like, it almost felt like people were too scared to put their stamp on that player, be like, this is my guy, but everybody kind of liked all these guys. And so, obviously, we know these guys draft wide receivers and just make them literally pro
just studs.
Studs. So I'm sure Chase Claypool will be very good. I actually think he ends up being, honestly, could be their number 2/3 this year. I think that Smith-Schuster's obviously the number 1. Then Johnson's probably the 2, and then Claypool's the 3. I think Claypool duels Washington there. I think that.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. And then McFarland is going to be good. Maybe take a couple more carries away from James Conner, who just literally just could not stay healthy. If you can take 5 carries away from him per game, maybe get him to last a little bit longer, that's good. And then, then it's just depth at other positions. So I like this draft. It's not like the sexy one, but I'm like, I know what, you got a lot of needs, and you can see these guys making a difference this year.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go ahead and get into the Ravens. Draft that they just freaking nailed it. Just to be quite frank, you take Patrick Queen in round 1. Round 2, you go J.K. Dobbins, and then you get a defensive tackle in round 3, and a wide receiver, and a linebacker, and another linebacker, and then through the rest of the draft, you just added depth along your offensive line. Like, just holy smokes, did they just have a phenomenal draft? Like, they did everything that they needed to. They added depth where it needed to be. Yonda retires. Hey, let's just go ahead and get some late round guys here, interior offensive linemen, and maybe one of them hits and we fill a gap. If not, hey, we still got some quality depth. We'll just build from it from here. Damn, they nailed it. You get Patrick Queen, of course you get another linebacker. Of course, the Ravens get a stud linebacker. Round 2, hey, we have a running back already that we kind of like in Mark Ingram. Let's get a guy that plays just like him. Shit, might even take a spot. J.K. Dobbins. Round 3, let's just add to our defensive line. We got Calais Campbell. Forget about it. We're going to get another interior guy here. And then they go receiver, a speedster, a guy who didn't have hardly any drops at the University of Texas. And then they get Malik Harrison, a linebacker. You just add to that position as well. Like, your first 3 rounds, you killed it. You freaking did phenomenal. I have no hate. I can't even be upset. Like, it's an exciting time to be a Ravens fan here because you guys just got better. And you still have the reigning on your team. Your receiving core just got better as well. Look the hell out for the Ravens next year because they are not messing around.
No, they're really not. I love this draft. Patrick Queen, my number 2 linebacker. J.K. Dobbins, my number 1 running back. Duvernay, I thought he was going to be one of the best slot wide receivers in this entire draft. We talked about Malik Harrison multiple times, and then we talked about James Prochet, the wide receiver out of SMU during the Senior Bowl. One of our Senior Bowl episodes, we talked about how he really stood out. So I really, really like this draft. So big fan of it. I'm with you. Ravens, going to be a threat. It was awesome. All right, let's go on to the Browns now. Pick 10, they got Jedrick Wills just to fall into their lap. Just lucky them. That's fantastic. Round 2, a guy that you desperately wanted to fall to the Chiefs in round 2, and that's Delpit, the safety out of LSU. He was great. Jordan Elliott, Ohio State guy. Jacob Phillips, a linebacker. Harrison Bryant, the tight end. I thought that he was going to get drafted in the 3rd round. He falls to the 4th round there. They take Nick Harrison in the 5th round. And then the surprise for, I think, almost everybody was Donovan Peoples-Jones falling all the way to the 6th round. And I get it that he may be more of just an athlete than a wide receiver, but I'll take that gamble in the 6th round all day, every day. My only worry there is, did you just get a David Njoku version 2.0? This time, though, in the 6th round, not the 1st round, where I remember last year you and I had this argument where I said David Njoku is just not very good. He's just a great athlete. He's not very good at that. And then you said he was going to have a monster year, and then he didn't. And then I got his back. Yeah, I'm right again. And, so.
He got hurt. Whoa. Easy here, Tiger. Let's tone that back a bit. He got hurt because his quarterback said, let me roll out to the right, try and throw across my body. Jump up and get this bad throw. Your legs get taken out from underneath you. Sorry if you broke your neck. That's what happened to David Njoku.
Yeah, they understood that it was just a freak injury, right? And that's why they went and made Austin Hooper the highest paid tight end.
I mean, when you got Austin Hooper sitting there, like, why not go get him? You got a guy coming off injury.
That's fair.
Thank you.
I actually can't believe that they haven't traded him yet. And maybe it's just because maybe a lot of teams just aren't willing to trade at this point. Maybe they actually want to see like what they have and actually do practices. I think that's probably more of what it is. I actually think that's why guys like Clowney haven't been signed and some other free agents. I think at this point, coaches like, don't make any more moves. Let's go to practice. Let me see all these players on the field, and then I can tell you if we're actually weak at that position or not.
Yep. I think that's fair. Let's go ahead and get into the Bengals here. Round 1, they take Joe Burrow. Round 2, they go T. Higgins. Round 3, they go Logan Wilson. Then they go Akeem Davis-Gaither. And then they go Khalid Kareem, Hakeem Adinji, and Marcus Bailey. If I pronounce those names correctly, holy shit, that was my first time saying it out loud quite a bit. Really, though, the first 3 rounds of this draft, I absolutely love. I fell in love with Logan Wilson at the Senior Bowl. T. Higgins was a favorite receiver of mine coming into the draft. And Joe Burrow, I've been talking about him to whoever would listen, I feel like, in my circle of the LSU Tigers have a quarterback. The first tailgate that I went to with Matt and Mello for Stick to Football, we went to an LSU-Georgia game. I watched Jake Fromm, and then I watched Joe Burrow. And I remember sitting there going, man, this Joe Burrow kid, like, he actually looks like a freaking quarterback. Didn't have the best game, didn't do well, but you could just kind of see, like, he's an actual quarterback that seems to be doing things well, like doing things right. And LSU comes in and beats Georgia. It was a great game, great atmosphere, great memories I'll never forget for the rest of my life were made there in LSU. But the Bengals get that guy, and then they get T. Higgins and they get Logan Wilson. They added to great spots of need throughout the draft here. Their receiving core just got even better. They got their future guy in Logan Wilson. They desperately needed leading linebacker help, and they got it. This is awesome. I love this draft as well. I just need to know which one I'm having a good time with at night and which one I'm being together with forever.
Yeah. I'm with you. This draft is awesome. They got freaky athletic at tight end, at linebacker with Davis-Gaither and Logan Wilson. I think that's an awesome duo there. T. Higgins, opposite of A.J. Green, yes, please, all day. And then obviously Joe Burrow. What more can we say? Like, this dude's going to be an absolute freak. So I really, really like this. And honestly, I like all of these drafts. I think this division did very, very well. It was kind of like the NFC North last episode, but we get like 3 of the 4. This one, it's all 4. Big fans of it. So I'm going to put you on this spot to start off. So who are you going to marry?
I'm going to marry the Ravens. You had several picks here, and I feel like you hit on all of them. So you have a lot of things going for you. It looks like you have a bright future. You have great assets, great perks as well, if you're kind of getting my vibe here. You're kind of something I want to be together with for a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and get down on a knee here. I'm going to pull out this box. I'm going to open up the shiny, sparkly thing inside of it that sits on your finger. And I'm going to ask you to be mine, Ravens. So what do you say?
All right. Who are you going to just have a one-night stand with?
Yeah, that's going to be the Bengals. You know what I mean? Just a little, eye in the tiger type deal. Let's just kind of get ready for a night. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully it goes well. If not, we'll just move on from here. We had a great time. It looks like you have a good future, but you don't have everything figured out yet. You're kind of setting yourself up for it. You're setting yourself up for the next guy. So that's what I like about the Bengals here. Who am I going to kill? I'm gonna kill the Browns. I like what they did. They had several picks here as well. They were able to add Grant Delpit. This is a guy that I think is going to come in with some of those other LSU players on the team and kind of get back to his 2018 form. I like how they added to the offensive line at pick 10. That's what Baker Mayfield desperately needs. Give him time. So with that, I'm just gonna kill you. And the Steelers, I'm gonna Carol Baskin you. Just due to the fact that my favorite pick was in round 2. Yeah, you can count Mika Fitzpatrick as round 1, but from there, it seems like your team is set up in a position to make a run. You just need guys to be healthy. That's the only reason why I don't want anything to do with your draft, is because you pretty much already have people that I like, and that's it. So no hard feelings on this Carol Baskin. A tough decision here, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm also going to marry the Ravens because how can you not? Patrick Queen, J.K. Dobbins, Duvernay, come on, like how can you not marry them? I also am going to have a nice seafood dinner, with the Bengals. I just think that they're fantastic. It's also ironic that we're doing the Bengals and we're doing Carol Baskin here. It is what it is. And then I am actually going to kill the Steelers. And that is more because I think that guys like Antoine Brooks and Anthony McFarland and Chase Claypool all make big differences this year and moving forward. They got some tough decisions at wide receiver in the coming years, and I think if they can get Chase Claypool to be just a stud here, like it makes everything much easier. And I will have to Carol Baskin the Browns, and just like you, like this one was tough. And again, we said it before we started this. We like all of these drafts, so this one's actually tough. Love Jedrick Wills. He was actually my number one tight end there. Grant Delpit is he's just a wild card there. So is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Those guys are both just, if those two explode like what their potential is, this obviously moves up to, honestly, probably could move up to the Mary system. Like that's what potential this team actually has. But I don't think this team needs potential. I think that this team already has the potential. I think that they needed solidified who are the safe guys that are going to come in here and just be able to, there's not going to be question marks like Grant Delpit's tackling. Like you just come in, you be the guy, and you're good to go. Again, Grant Delpit could also turn into one of the top 5 safeties in the league within 2 or 3 years. Like he's that talented. Yep. So this one was actually very tough for me. I actually honestly don't like doing the Carol Baskin to this team, but we got to do it, right? Like we're not playing against, we're not on the fence here trying to decide. So that's where I'm at. Let's do our rankings of not for the draft, but where you rank these teams in the division currently. We both have the Ravens number 1. We've already made that very clear because we both think that they're going to be either the 1 or 2 seed in the AFC. Who is your number 2 team in this division?
Steelers.
Okay. Your number 3 team?
Browns and then Bengals.
Okay.
It's tough. Does Baker Mayfield do what he needs to do this next year? Like that's the serious question, and that's the honest truth of, does he mess it up or does he figure it out?
It's true. And does Big Ben stay healthy? Those are the 2 biggest things.
Yeah, seriously.
Big Ben. Those 2, like, I actually, as boring as it is, I'm going to do exactly what you just did there. But, like, it is literally one hit away from the Bengals being the 2 seed in this division and me being very confident about it.
Yeah, dude, they're a young team, but, man, those guys are all ready to play. Like, Logan Wilson, he's an experienced player. Like, he's not just some, guy that he did kind of go to a smaller school, not as high, level facing, but, dude, this guy just, in my mind, that means he's fresher. You know what I mean? You're ready for the bigger hits now. You're going to be more durable with that. I'm really excited to see what the Bengals can do because, man, they've built a solid foundation here, and you just got to build off of it and keep going, in my mind. Like, I really, 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 really like the Bengals.
Yeah, me too. All right. I think that does it for this episode. We will be doing the AFC East next episode. And then the final 2 will be our team's division. So AFC East later this week. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And tonight we've been talking football.